Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, we've got another little hover effect for you today. We've got some images here that have an icon in the top left corner. When you hover anywhere over the image, the title and text will appear. Really easy to do. We're not using any coding or any extra plugins to do this today. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is enable the visual builder. Once enabled, let's go down and we'll create a new row. Little green button for a row. I'm going to use 3 columns as I've got 3 above. And for this today, I'm going to use a blurb module purely because it's got an icon in it. There's the new fantastic icon module that's just been added by Divi there. But we're going to use the blurb so we can have some content as well. Divi comes as standard with all these modules. If you're using WooCommerce, you get an extra dozen also to display your products with. So let's pop in a blurb module. Okay, obviously put in what you want your title to say here and put in what you want in your content right there. I'm going to leave mine just as it is as the default there. I'm going to go down to image and icon. I'm going to flip mine to use icon. Now they've just upgraded that icon library now, and if you hit the little button here it'll pop out and show you them all. They've included the great Font Awesome icon set, so there's way more choice here now. I'm just going to use a little exclamation. When you're happy, just hit the check mark and there it is up there. Okay, we got our basic blog here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put an image in the background here, so we've got a nice little image to look at. So let's roll on down a little further and we can go to background. If you want to add a link so that when anybody clicks anywhere on your module, you can put it in here. Put your title link in there if you want the title to link to one place. And if you want the whole module to link somewhere, put the link in there. And always, as best practice, if you're linking to your own site, leave it in the same window. If you're linking to offsite to somebody else's site, open it in a new tab so your site stays open. Okay, well let's put that image in. I've gone into background here. I'm going to go over to image. We've got color, gradient, image and video. Let's hit the little button. Grab whatever image it is you want to add. And there we go. We've got an image in the background. Now that looks like a bit of a mess. So let's go over to our design tab and start styling it. First one's image and icon. Let's open that up. I want my icon to be white. I'm going to give it a black background. Obviously this is completely up to you. I don't want it to be quite as big as it is. I'm going to take mine down to say 30 pixels. That's okay. I want it to be on the left hand side. Obviously you put yours where you want. I don't want any rounded corners or any border styles. But I will give it a little bit of padding all around. Let's give it say 5 pixels. Just put in the 5, it'll put in the pixels. Hit the chain, it'll do the opposite side. And you can do the same for left and right. There we go. We got a little bit of padding around there, which is great. Alright, well our text and what have you, we can't really see very well. So let's roll on down. We'll go into text. I'm going to change it from dark to light. And you can change them individually, your title and content colors below. I'm going to pop it in the middle, alignment wise. I'm happy with the font style. I'm not going to change anything like that. You can change the title and body font styles by going into them. And Divi has got a crazy amount of font styles, it really has. I've been using this for 5 or 6 years at least and I've never gone through them all. Simply go in there, if you hover over something it'll give you an example of what that font's going to look like. I'm going to leave mine on the default today. Okay, the only thing I really want to do, I've aligned it centrally, it's the colour that we want it to be. Or at least initially it's the colour we want it to be. So I'm going to come back to the text and we're going to change it around to make the hover effect work. And for the time being I'm going to roll down and I'm going to go to sizing. I'm going to give this module a fixed height so I can see as much or as little of the image as I want. And also giving it a fixed height will allow us to put different amounts of text in it without actually changing the height. So in the sizing on the design tab, I'm going to go down to height. I'm going to make mine 400. Obviously you make yours whatever works for the image that you're working with. And there we have it. That works pretty well for me. Okay, well let's start working on that text. Initially I don't want to see it at all. I really don't want it touching the sides there. So I'm going to add a bit of padding just to bring it in from the sides. So we're on sizing at the moment. I'm going to close that one up. Just below it we've got spacing. Padding wise, I'm not going to give it any top and bottom, but I will give some left and right. And I'm going to give it, say, 30 pixels left and right. That's great. But it's kind of pushed our icon in a bit. I really want mine on the left corner. So we'll adjust that. Let's go back up to the top to our icon and put it exactly where we want it. If we roll down, we've actually got spacing settings for the icon. We've got margin and padding here. We added a bit of padding all around. I know I've pushed it 30 pixels in, so if I use margin with a negative value to the left, I can do negative 30 to put it back in the corner. So let's do that. There we go. And also I kind of like to put that title a little bit further down, so we can use a bit of margin on the bottom to do that. Let's put 30 on the bottom as well. That should push the text down. Yeah, that works for me fine. But I'm still not happy with, the legibility of that text. It's still getting lost in that picture somewhere. And of course, initially we don't want to see any text there at all. So let's go back down and make the text do what we want it to do. And it's really easy what we're going to do to achieve this today. If we roll on down, I'm going to go to the title text. I'm going to roll down to the title text color. And common to most Divi modules, if you hover over the dark writing, you'll see some icons appear to the right. Hover over the element you want to change, in this case the color. If there's an arrow there, it'll let us set a desktop state when your mouse is not on it and a hover state when your mouse is on it. So we don't want to see this initially when your mouse is not on it. So I'm going to make that text transparent. You'll see the title disappear. When we hover over it, I'm going to bring it back. So I'm going to hit the little arrow there and I'm going to make it white again. And I'm going to roll on down. I'm going to do exactly the same for the body text below. I'm going to go down to the color. I'm going to hit the little arrow to bring up desktop and hover state. Desktop, don't want to see it at all. Hover, we want to bring it back to white. Fantastic. Well, if we've done everything correctly, this should work. But I'm still not happy. We're on the hover state here so we can see the writing there. I'm still not happy with the content being legible there. It's still getting lost in that image. So let's fix that and we should be good to go. So I'm going to go back to the content tab. I'm going to go down to background. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a color. We added an image. There's the image. I'm going to go ahead and add a black. You won't see any change because the image is overriding it. But if we go to the image now and we roll on down a bit, at the bottom here, as long as you're not using parallax effect, you'll find background image blend. And what this does is blends any color that you've put in the background with the image itself. And there's some fantastic effects you can get by doing this, so play with it. But today I'm going to use the multiply, and when I do this, it's going to turn completely black. There it is, because we've got that black color multiplied with the image. So let's fix it how we want it. So I'm going to go back to the actual color itself, and when we hover over it, I just want to see a bit of a dark background, and when we're not hovering over it, we really don't want to see any of this black. So let's bring up our desktop state. That writing should disappear. Yep. And on desktop, I really don't want to see any of this black because I just want to see the image itself. So I'm going to bring this opacity slider on the right hand side all the way down so it's fully transparent. And for anybody who didn't realize I had the black color there, I just simply clicked on the color and these two sliders appeared. The variegated one is the transparency or opacity. Great. And when we hover over it, we want to dull down that background a little bit so we can actually read that writing. And you can't see it, but that black's there. It's just because it's invisible. The opacity's down right at the bottom there. It's giving a sort of white color. So I'm going to bring this back to about 50%. So it's going to bring in that black background a little bit over that image. Obviously adjust yours to how you want it. So you can still see some of that image behind, but you can legibly read all the writing there. So I don't know, if in this particular instance I'm probably going to go for about 70 or 80%. Depending on what photo you're using, you want to adjust that accordingly. We should be good to go. Let's save our changes here. And we'll save the page changes. Let's exit the Visual Builder. And there are our little images. There's the little icon on there. Let's hover over it. And it darkens down a bit. And our text appears for us there. And it's very legible. Once you get off, it's going to disappear back out into the image. That's a nice little feature to have on your site, especially if you want to advertise your services with images and stuff. Really easy to do. Like I say, no coding involved in this today, as you've seen. So I hope you've enjoyed this and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie with System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.